tell me about your family, or how many siblings?
I have Crystal, Melissa, and Mike, and then on the other side is Sean, Missy, and Ricky.
Gotcha. Okay. So take me back to the 3rd of July. You were with Crystal that day, right?
I was. We watched the fireworks together at a friend's house, and then we went to look for Timmy and didn't find him, and then she decided she wanted to continue having fun, so she went with my brother's girlfriend at the time to the bar.
Gotcha. Okay. And so, underage, but I mean,
Right.
I was in bars at that time too.
I did it.
Right. So it wasn't like it was it wasn't like she was 15. She was 20,
Right.
she was in the bar, everything was kind of fine, right?
Right.
So tell me a little bit about that night. Did you go to Knickers with her?
I did not. I went home that night, and then it wasn't until the next morning that her boyfriend, because I was just keeping her car for the night, she was going to contact me the next morning.
Gotcha. Okay. So she left her car at your house, sort of
Yeah.
thing. Okay. And so the next day, the boyfriend called you, or what?
Yeah, he called and asked if I'd seen Crystal, and I'm like, well, I thought she's home with you by now, you know. He's like, no, I haven't seen her. So I went and picked him up because his brakes were out on his truck at the time. So I went and picked him up, and we called everybody we could think of, and nobody had seen her. We went out to my mom's, and she hadn't seen her. And then we couldn't contact the police department for 24 hours, so we gave up for the day, kind of, and then started looking again the next day and started finding people that were in the bar that night. Did you know anything? Did you see anything? You know, things like that at first.
And at that point, you're thinking, okay, she's off with somebody, she's off with a friend,
Right,
she's
yeah.
doing her own thing, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So immediately, were you thinking, okay, she'll turn up in the next day or so?
Yeah, I did.
So was it strange for her? I mean, she wasn't somebody that took off like that, right?
No, no. She never has ever done that before, just wander off anywhere. You know, we've always known where she was.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about what she was like, or what she's like. And I'm sorry, do you say was or is at this point?
We kind of go back and forth depending on what show we've just watched.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but there's a lot of shows where people have been missing for years and then all of a sudden they're found. You know what I mean? In our hearts, we know she wouldn't just go without contacting us. So in our hearts, we pretty much have accepted that she's probably gone. And that's not the fact that hurts so much. It's the fact that we don't know. It's the not knowing.
So you wake up every morning. Do you think about it every single day? I mean,
Yes.
you still think about
Yes.
it?
There isn't a thing that doesn't remind me of her. Even though we've moved, lives have changed, there's not a thing that doesn't remind you of her. Somebody's comment sounds like her comments, or, you know, it's, yeah, every single day.
The littlest thing. So tell me kind of what kind of person she was. What was she like?
Very fun, very loving, always wanted to be the helper. Man, just a great person.
Gotcha.
My sister.
And you were tight as sisters?
We were off and on. When she disappeared, she was helping me through a rough time at that time, and we were more closer than we'd ever been at that time.
Okay. And so, you know, what kind of stuff did she like to do? I asked Kevin Klein a little bit about this too. Some things he said is that she liked music, she liked to listen to K-Live, I still call it, liked to go to the pool, lay out, tan, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
What are some other things she liked to do?
She liked to make me get up out of bed and go out to eat. She loved to go out to eat. Bonanza used to be her favorite place, and then we went to Ponderosa after a while, and yeah, be around family, movies, going to watch like comedy night and stuff like that. Yeah, anything that was basically fun.
Okay, and obviously, you know, since the whole thing, a lot of rumors got started, and there was that whole meth thing and all that, you know. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, would you think she would have ever done anything like that?
At one time I would have said absolutely not, because that's what my hard time was. I'm a recovering drug addict, and that's what she was helping me through. I had just quit like 8 months before that. And she was so against it in so many ways that I find it really hard that she would have tried it, you know, just because she knew the struggles that I was going through at the time.
So obviously it's not something that she would have done, like, just knowing your sister well enough to know.
Right, she watched my whole life go down the tubes, you know, so I really don't think she would have wanted that for herself, so to try it, you know, I don't see it.
Okay. So I'm thinking you've had every scenario play out in your head.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think, do you have a heart of hearts or in a gut feeling of what happened? I mean, do you have something that you put together in your mind?
Over the years, every day is different. I can have it all worked out in my mind, and then something comes up and, oh no, this sounds better, and I really don't. I can't put my finger on and say, yes, this person I think did something, or this person, or this happened, or that happened. I don't. I just don't know. That's what hurts, is don't know.
And that's what you were saying, not knowing.
Yeah.
How often does it cross your mind that, this could happen, this could happen? I mean, do you, I mean, like you said, you change your mind very frequently?
Yeah, very frequently. It's almost on a daily basis, especially around this time of the year when she went missing, when all the rumors are starting to fly again. You hear this and it's like, wow, I didn't know that. And there's things you forget over the years, and it's refreshed, and it's like, oh yeah, that's right, and it changes every day on what we think could have happened and who could have done it or done anything or what even happened that night.
So, tell me kind of what the last 10 years have been like for you. I'm sure this has been a huge process, and I would assume a big-time roller coaster when you go to Montel and he tells you she's going to be calling you by Christmas, and Christmas rolls around and it doesn't happen. Will you tell me kind of what it's been like for you? I mean, the ups and downs. What are some of the high points and low points for you guys?
It's harder than the drug addiction was. And drug addiction was very hard for me. There's nothing that can even describe it. I've had family members that have passed away that you deal with it because you know where they're at, you know what's happening, you know they're in a better place. But with Crystal, we don't know. We have nothing, no memorial, nothing that we can see. And I think it gets harder as the years go because, oh my gosh, it's 10 years. What's happened? You know what I mean? It gets harder.
So what do you do as a family to kind of keep it together, to make sure that, like, obviously the book that you've made and all that, or that your sister made, what kind of things do you guys do to, as a family, basically, to keep it together, to make sure that there's still hope out there, still looking, all that?
We stay together. I mean, that's the only thing I can really say, that, we make sure we know where each other is, that, it's being there for each other when either one of us is having a hard time, because like I said, there's multiple things. Somebody walking down the street that looks like her can put us into upset and stuff, so it's being close, being with each other.
How do you picture what she, if that night wouldn't have happened, or if she wouldn't have disappeared, what do you picture what she would be like now, age 30?
It'd be even a better person. Because like I said, over the years, and it's not just Crystal disappearing that's grown, our family's grown together closer. I think it would have happened over the years anyway, and I think she'd be perfect fit yet.
And you've had a lot of contact with the Dubuque Police Department, particularly Klein, all those different people. Do you feel that the investigation that they've done diligence on this? Do you feel like...
I do in some areas I don't. Just like I said, it's because of the rumors and the things you hear, and there's things that they know more about than I do, and there's some things where, why didn't they talk to this person more, or why are they worrying about this person or that person, or and it's just things like that. I really think Kevin Klein's done an awesome job.
Do you feel like if you had it to do over again, what would you have done differently, and what would you have hoped that the police could have done differently? If there is any.
Number one, I wouldn't have left my sister alone. You learn from your experiences, and I really don't think that there's anything I would change besides the fact of that person that knows that one piece of information that's going to bring this to terms. That's all I'd change, is that they would do it sooner.
So do you think that there is somebody out there that knows something?
I do, full force. There's too many eyes that night. There's too many people around. Somebody knows something. They're either scared to say something, or they think it's a little piece of information that it doesn't matter. And everything in this investigation matters.
I'm trying to put myself in the shoes of, okay, I'm trying to think, okay, I'm going to say I was there that night. And I saw it, and I've never really said anything, because I was sort of friends with that guy or that girl or whoever that I'm pretty sure I saw her leave with, but I'm not going to say anything. But now here, 10 years later, I've never seen that person again. Is it your hope that there's somebody that I'm describing like myself. Do you know what I mean by that? Like,
I do. Yes, please come forward. Whatever the circumstances were then, whatever they're now, please come forward.
how would it change your life to know where your sister is?
The closure. The closure we haven't had for 10 years. That is the hardest part, is the closure. We lost a sister, we lost a loved one, and we have no clue why, what, or where.
When you see things like the Elizabeth Smart, for example, you know, she was obviously only gone, I mean, is it 6 months, I think?
Right.
But thriving, doing well, that thing's finally behind that family. How does it make you feel? Are you pissed that this worked out for somebody else? Why can't it work out for us? Or how do you feel?
At times, yeah, because we want that too. But at times, you got to be happy for the family that has that. You know, God does everything for a reason. I haven't figured out the reasoning behind this yet, but I'm sure one day He'll show me.
So, does that give you hope? I mean, could you?
Yeah, very much so, because every time I turn around, I expect her to walk in a door somewhere and be just fine. You know.
So, you know, okay, let's play out the scenario that she did walk away with somebody and just decided, you know what, I'm leaving my life in Dubuque, I'm moving out to Utah, and I'm going to live with this random person in Utah, and my name's going to be something else, and no one's ever going to know who I am. I mean, is that a familiar scenario in your brain? I mean, have you thought that one out?
I really can't wrap my hands around that one, because she just wouldn't up and leave us like that. She may want to change her life, but keep us in it, you know, change everything else about it, even if it's just through a phone call, through something. And I know that her social security numbers in like databases and stuff that are watched too, and I really find it hard in this day and age to survive without it.
Yeah. What would you do if you saw her, if she walked into this room right now?
I would probably faint. I probably would faint. I'd start screaming. It would be the best day of the world.
Here's hoping, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think that there is that kind of hope that she could walk in? I mean, have you made peace in your heart that she's likely passed away, or what?
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah. Just because it has been 10 years and nothing. Absolutely nothing.
And does your family have any kind of like memorial or kind of like annual gathering, anything like that?
We don't. It's a pretty hard subject.
Okay. And tell me about the 4th of July. It's supposed to be, and everybody's having fun, yay!
Yeah,
but,
not our family.
Mm-hmm.
Nope, it has not been fun since then. It usually ends up in a bunch of tears.
Do you guys get together every year?
We do. We try to. Yeah, we try to watch the fireworks together.
Gotcha. Well, those are really all the questions I have for you. Unless there's anything else about the investigation that you want to talk about, as far as the people that have been questioned throughout this, do you feel that those questions have been answered as far as everyone who was in there that night? I mean,
no, there's a lot of things that have been left hanging with some of that stuff, and just the years have separated and it's kind of fallen to the wayside. Some of them aren't going to be able to be answered just because of the type of people and everything that was involved in that night.
do you think, I mean, I don't know if you want to, we can cut this part out if you don't want to mention these names, people like the Peacocks or anybody else that may have been there?
I don't know if the Peacock brothers could have been responsible for something like that. There's things that they've done in their past that I've heard about that makes me stand back and, yeah, they did something. But there's also things that, the way they've been investigated in some things, you know, and it's really hard to pinpoint anybody, any certain thing, because there's so many things that came out about that night that some are true, some aren't, some you just don't know. So
you as a family don't sit and think, okay, this is Bill Smith, and I know Bill Smith has done this to my sister, but we have that missing link. Is it not like that, or? It
depends on what day it is. It goes from different people, different people, different people. There is, and like I said, it all goes back to the rumors that you hear. You know, and especially when you hear them year after year after year and the stories don't change. But there's more than one story like that that goes on, so you can't pinpoint which one. I mean, like I said, it's the day. Last night it could have been the Peacock brothers. The time before it could have been another person or another person. And I just don't know.
So what's next for you?
To keep searching, to keep finding that closure that we need for our family.
And you've even gone as far to talk to psychics, the Montel Williams show, all that, right? I mean,
I have everything and anything that's possible. There's even a Facebook group page up of Crystal right now that I search the internet at least probably once a month. I try to search to see if there's anybody else has any ideas they want to put somewhere, and they just don't feel comfortable talking to the police or to anybody else about.
What can we as the media do to help your family?
Keep the word out there. We won't never quit looking until we have the right answers, until we have her, either which form that is, until we have her.
Gotcha. All right, those are all the questions. Unless there's anything else that you want to add that we haven't talked about.
Just please, 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 no matter little, big, small, scared, not scared, just please come forward.
Begging,
give our family.
Yeah.
I'll get on my knees if I have to. Yeah, definitely begging, please. It's been 10 years, way too long. Should have never went this long.
Okay, you're off the hook.
Okay.